I don't have a good image toward I Pat. When I was in the 8th grade, my father had an affair and eloped. My mother, who was a housewife, took my younger sister, Anne, who was still in 2nd grade, and went back to her parents' home. My mother started working part-time a few months later. She and her boyfriend disappeared, leaving me and my sister with our grandparents.
Is Mom not coming home yet?
Yeah, I think so. We're your parents from now on.
You are our precious grandchildren. From now on, the 4 of us will live together.
Yeah?
My grandparents were kind and took care of Anne and me. However, when I was a senior in high school, my grandparents died. Before we knew what had happened to our grandparents' inheritance, it was divided among their siblings, and Anne and I were left with nothing. I worked hard at studying under my grandparents and earned money for college with part-time jobs, but I eventually gave up on going to university. I couldn't count on my so-called iPad. I'll be independent and take care of one younger sister. I decided to do so, and after graduating from high school, I got a job and moved out of the institution to live with Anne. I don't have a good image of parents, and rather a bad image of them being very selfish. I couldn't imagine myself getting married or having a family and becoming a parent. That's what I thought. But one day, my husband Pete threw me a curveball when he introduced me to his boss at work. As we got to know each other better, we talked about our families, and I learned that Pete was in a similar situation. I heard that Pete's father also chose a mistress and left Pete's mother after an affair.
I totally understand. I'm mad at my dad too for being a sea jerk.
Yeah, I was angry, but I was sad. My sister and I cried from time to...
I still had my mom, but it must have been really hard to have both of your parents leaving you and your sister like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to use that.
A husband who sympathizes with my son. With a husband like this, I might actually have a proper family. And so Pete and I began dating with in mind. After a few months of dating, she decided to attend a vocational school and announced that she would be moving out on her own.
Hey, sis, I finally got a job.
Really? That's great. Congratulations.
So I'm going to be on my own from...
What?
Thank you so much for everything that you did for me. So don't worry about me anymore. From now on, I want you to live for. I want you to marry someone you love happy.
Oh, I see. Thank you, too.
Anne's words made me all teary. I am so happy that she grew up to be and strong. For Anne's sake, I will get married a happy family. And 1 year later, I married Pete. I want to spend my married life with just Pete and me. I wanted a feeling of love in my marriage. Pete, on the other hand, seemed to children early on, even before we 6 married.
I do want children. I want to raise my kids properly, so it won't be sad.
Yeah, me too.
I was still hesitant about becoming a parent myself, but I know that we can create a family, and I will do my best to make sure my child feels the same way I did and create a loving family. With Pete, I feel like I could do that. As I talked with Pete about this sub before we got married, I gradually more and more positive about having. However,
Welcome home. It seems like you've at work.
Yeah, I'm tired today too, so I'm sleep.
See below for spelling and grammar mistakes.
ever since we got married, my husband says he's tired from work and goes to bed early every night. Although we are newlyweds, we have not been intimate since we got married. He said he wanted to have children, but what's going on? It's been a year since we got married, but nothing has changed since then. Now, my mother-in-law, Lisa, has been trying to get me to have children.
I really want to see my grandchild that possible.
Oh, we still want to enjoy our lives, and we're both busy with work at the moment.
If Kim quits her job, you both could have better timing than now, right? Huh? It's one of a wife's roles to show her mother-in-law their grandchild's face.
Well, I can't really just quit my job. There are various procedures for quitting, such as finding a suitable successor, giving notice, and not quitting so soon.
I see. Well then, I wonder when An'll be my grandchild's face.
My husband is the one who goes to work because he's tired, so putting all the pressure on me is really unfair. Pete doesn't even try to support or defend me when Lisa brings up this topic. If he doesn't want children anymore, why doesn't he just say it? What is he thinking about? On the way home from Lisa's house, frustrated that I had finally confronted her about it,
Lisa thought I was infertile and blamed me for not being able to have children, and yet you didn't even try to sup what's happening here.
Oh,
I mean, you always say that you're the first person and you don't even want to have kids at all. But why not have kids?
that S.
What are you trying to do?
Actually, I'm infertile.
What?
I said I wanted to have a child, but couldn't talk to you about it. I'm infertile. I'm really sorry.
I had no idea that my husband was. When I looked at him and saw his sack, felt my heart tighten. It was hard for Pete too, and he was going through it.
Don't apologize. I'm sorry, too. You should have told me.
I know you want to have children too.
I'm completely fine as long as you live together. Thank you.
With this, Pete and I made up. It doesn't matter if we don't have. I only hope for us to live together. A few months later, Anne had told me that she had decided to marry.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, I'll bring you something to celebrate.
Her boyfriend was a classmate of hers at her vocational school, and they have been supporting each other since then, which has developed into a relationship. I decided to visit the house where her boyfriend lived after work to bring a gift to congratulate them. On the day that I was going to visit my sister after work, I realized that I had forgotten my grandmother's ring. I had intended to give my grandmother's ring to Anne with the gift. My grandmother's ring was entrusted my grandfather, who told me to sell my grandmother passed away if I had making ends meet. However, as this was my only grandmother's wedding dress, I never sold it and kept it with great care. Now I want to entrust it to Anne, who's getting married.
Why did I even forget something so...
So I went back home once to get The ring was tucked away on a shelf bedroom, so I rushed to the room, and lo and behold.
Is it okay with your wife and all?
She's coming home late today, so
In the bedroom, I saw Pete and a woman getting intimate. I can't believe what I'm seeing right in front of my eyes. I thought Pete wasn't interested in intimacy because even if he was, it would be only natural for him to be and have desires, but he didn't ever show them. But instead, he was being intimate another woman, and he brought her home while I had no idea he was such a prick. At first, I was surprised, but as I understood what was happening, I gradually got used to it. I could no longer look at Pete with anything but contempt as I turned my gaze away from him and saw that he was the worst of the worst. I packed my suitcase and photographed the scene of the two being naked with my cell phone as they remained frozen.
hey.
Are you being for real?
Both of them started to wince, but care less.
Will divorce. Alimony will be paid by you and her prepared.
Wait a minute, I'm not sure if I'm ready for divorce.
I swallow a lot of thoughts for you in the past few years and tried to be your wife, but you betrayed me from the very beginning. You have been ignoring me and haven't been intimate with me since we got married.
Pete couldn't say anything back and glared at him. I held on tightly to my grandmother and left the house. We then decided to set up a meeting to discuss the divorce. Pete didn't want a divorce, and he repeatedly, but who the hell does he is?
I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Please reconsider about the divorce.
Now I know about your affair, just everything, honestly.
So Pete told me everything, including why he was there and how long he had been with her. Then he gave me the most shocking news.
I actually have a child with her.
What is the difference between a web page and a website?
So it was a complete lie that Pete was infertile. I can't believe he has a child with his mistress. Pete worked overtime every day, came home tired, seemed to have no hobbies, and couldn't afford to save enough money. I had my doubts, but I never thought Pete, who couldn't conceive on his own, might be making some of his own way. But that money was spent to that one their child. Pete seemed to be under the mistaken impression that if he confessed to everything, he would be forgiven.
I'm so sorry. Please reconsider the divorce. I just confessed everything.
You betrayed my trust by telling me about your infertility problems and having a baby behind my back. You're horrible, Pete.
He just confirmed to me that he is irredeemable prick, a scumbag, and man. How could he think that this would make people forgive him? I rented an apartment, moved out, divorce settlement, and Peter seems to realize that I'm not going to forgive him.
Even if I divorce, I need the money of family. So please don't request for an alimony.
He was so selfish to use his child woman as a shield to save him. How dare he have the nerve to do that? Since the divorce settlement was going nowhere, I was prepared to sue him.
How could you do such a thing? How dare you cheat and betray your own wife? How dare you walk down the same path, father, who cheated on me and chose mistress? How could my son turn out to be such a horrible, horrible person? I can't believe that my life has come to this.
When Lisa found out about the affair, she broke down in tears as though the world had ended. She blamed her son for everything that had happened. Furthermore, the use of a single loose plastic bag is not only harmful to the environment, but also to human health.
What is the meaning of this? You have a wife.
Weren't you married to my daughter? What do you mean, affair?
You even have a child with my daughter. Dare you? You better take responsibility.
Urged.
He even got lectured from the woman's parents who thought he was marrying their daughter. In the end, Pete finally agreed to the divorce. Pete and his mistress ended up paying thousands in alimony. My boss, who introduced Pete to me, was furious when he found out about this. Pete lost his position within the CC, was getting fired.
Berg, I can't believe I'm getting fat.
Can you please rethink about him getting fired? I believe that he should be able to pay alimony with no delay while properly supporting his child with the income he worked hard for.
My boss and Pete's boss agreed with opinion, and Pete managed to avoid fired. Instead, he must continue working desperately while getting cold shoulder from his colleagues, especially from his colleague. I know it would be a bed of nails for him, but it's his own fault.
He really was a scumbag.
But, sis, I'm glad that you're doing than I thought you would.
And I feel better when I get to see.
I'm glad. Please come visit me anytime.
As for my sister, she is happily married to her faithful partner. That is the only thing that keeps me. I hope she's happy and doesn't go through what I did. I have had enough of marriage. If my sister has a child, I would take care and give my love to that. Please subscribe to the channel if enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day.